Hey, all you fans of Immortal Bot and Immortal Arms. Have a video for you because, it's Saturday. Why not? So the other day, we put out a video showing the roll sizer decapper, and it was running 223, and it was running it at full speed, and the cases were standing straight up. We had a caption here. This is not your typical roll sizer video because we want to show you what we've done in a product that's coming that modifies the roll sizer decapper to allow you to do things like run 223 at full speed and have a nice steady case on the plate before the die comes down, so stop breaking pins and messing up the nose inserts and breaking pegs and all the other nonsense that people have had to deal with on the decapper. The number one complaint we've had is people could not run this thing on rifle without sitting there and babysitting it, and they didn't want to babysit it anymore. So sat down and designed a solution. So the wear plate that usually sits right here, as you can tell, it's completely flat. If you've ever really taken a look at your machine, you'll notice it's a completely flat plate. The pusher comes out, it pushes the case over. It sits right on the edge of a hole here. And then it comes down and gets decapped. Well, if there's any type of motion or bump or anything, that case is doing that. And then away it goes. It doesn't take much to make a 223 case fall over. They're not super steady. It's a small base. And that's been the problem for rifle folks, is that they're trying to run it and it can't stand there. And the larger the case, the closer it is to the oblivion right here and falling off. So like larger cases like 308 or 30-06 or something, they're getting way out here on the edge and they're gonna fall off at the wrong time. So it turns out a solution was already in the market. Partially, we had to adapt something that already existed in the market to make this better. And so Lee Precision, for their ACP and APP press, redesigned their shell holders from being pretty much 3/4 completely full to this pass-through, because their APP and ACPs push the cases from the left, process it, do whatever they're doing, and they fall off the right. They just continuously push them out, so it'd be they can run them faster. So what's great about that is now we have a solution for retention on the roll sizer. Got to work, pulled out our CAD CAM skills and redesigned the wear plate so that you can actually put these on the wear plate and retain them. So flip it over and do some set screws on the bottom. And that part is now retained in there. Now when the cases come in, they're retained, so when things come in to decap, when the pin comes down, this case is standing the way it's supposed to be, so the FW die does exactly what it's supposed to do and grab that case and set it up, straighten it up. And if there's a pullback, it doesn't matter because the case is retained and it won't pull out of there. And it keeps it steady until the next one comes along and pushes it all the way out here to the edge. Then it can actually fall off because it's got a nice solid base. The great thing about the Lee shell holders, so that was number 4, which is for 223, is they do sell them individually, but they also sell them in a nice pack. And this pack right here, this number 4 is out of it. It comes with everything but one of them. This is the number 6, and this is the 19. Pretty much in this pack is just about every case you're going to ever want to run pistol and rifle on the decapper. If it's not in this pack, the shell holders don't cost a lot. We're a Lee dealer, so we sell them, and when we sell this thing, we're going to sell these packs as well, make them available, or the individual shell holders as necessary. Pretty much everything in there, so you can buy the individual ones. This is a number 21. The 21 is for 7.6254 rim, Russian Mosin food. So great thing is, it's a quick solution. The only thing we don't like right now, and we're looking at how we're going to do this, or how we're going to give you guys instructions on how to do this, and this is going to be ugly. So this is a base off of one. So to make this work, of course, the original one, this is a flat plate that sits in there. It's basically retained through the pegs. You got to do some ugliness so that retention point stays in there and then it's still retained with the pegs as it goes in there. So there's a couple of ways for us to do this. We're taking a look. This is the ugly way. This was using a plastic welder, basically a Harbor Freight part, to come in and basically just cut this material and melt this material. And so this would just drop in so that you can put the parts in and out of there. No problem. You might have noticed there's some threaded holes. There is a sensor we're working on right now, and that's the mounting point for the sensor that will sit underneath it, which is why this is a square, not a circle. There'll be a sensor that will let you know if the system does not detect a decap when the die comes down, which could indicate a broken pin. The brass could just already be decapped, or you've had a pull back and you're not getting a decap because there's a primer stuck on that pin or something. But what we've seen in testing, this is the test run plate. This one never went into production. You can tell there's some scratches on it because we were doing some work on it. But from the testing on the other one you saw in the video, we're not having that problem pretty much because the cases are exactly where they're supposed to be when that die comes down. So we're not seeing broken pins. It's just running, which is what we wanted to do, and not worry about broken pins, leaving a bucket full of undecapped brass that we got to go back and run again. So the sensor is something we'll come out with later, but we're making the provision there for it now. We know what the sensor part is. We just got to finish up the rest of the electronics to know when the decapper is down and where it's supposed to be. But we're running these in steel right now. This one we did the initial parts in aluminum so we could just test them out because it's fast and easy and cheap to run aluminum. The steel ones are being made right now, so we will have a preliminary batch coming hopefully about the 1st of March. We will have all of these available. Without the sensor part, we don't know if we'll have that ready and done yet. We're a Lee dealer, so these are not a problem. We talked to Lee the other day about them. We've got plenty of them available, or we'll have plenty of them available, especially in the primary ones, like number 4 for 223, 9mm, 45 IDCP, whatever you're running. Just let us know. We'll have a drop down on the website. You can pick your caliber or the full kit to get it. We will do a video on how to do this. Yeah, I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly. Looking at something right now where we might just actually show you how to cut this completely away and then just have a drop-in piece that sits in there that replaces the tube itself, so that the sensor will have plenty of room to fit in there, because the sensor needs to fit in the back right here, and then bring the wire out to it. But we're working on that piece right now. But the wear plates themselves, if you're willing to do some surgery with a plastic welder or a Dremel, and I'll tell you, you don't want to Dremel this, guys. This material's horrible when you run a Dremel, and it's not that great when you run a hot knife in it either. But the Dremel is like the worst, and it gums up a Dremel really fast. So plastic welders, you can get them at Harbor Freight or Northern Tool or any of the cheap guys. Gets hot enough to cut into that material. We will do a video on how we're modifying this, so you can see how we do it. It's pretty much 2 simple tools to get into this, but it does take a little artistry. As you can tell, we're not real good artists on here, trying to do this by hand. But we will have a jig that comes with it, basically something like this, a printed part that you can just drop in there, put the pins in there to line it up, and then you'll be able to sketch out the lines where you need to cut, and then you'll have a template on there of how to cut it out, so you can get to it where you need to be. But so, like I said, about 1st of March we should have the parts. By then we should have another video on how to modify the wear plate, or modify this base, so that you can put our new wear plate in there and fix some of the problems, so you can decap rifle at full speed with the roll sizer decapper. So, as always, come get loaded.